This is a meal I'm cooking in the fall of 2020 as a farewell to Siena going back to college today. So here I'm gonna use leek. Normally I use an onion, but I have this leek in the fridge for a while. Gotta finish up with this celery. I have a large beet here. I have some radishes. I might use the greens too. I have some carrots with its greens and some chard. All right. And then, Sienna, I'm gonna put this in the pan, basically in this order. And I'm gonna use a algae oil. I really like using this oil. If you want to, you can use the regular olive oil to cook in a large pot. For the leek, I cut the end of it, and then I slice through it, and then I thinly slice through. If you want, if it's a thicker leek, you can even cut like this as well. So make very small. It's, press firmly and push the knife through. All right, and then I'm gonna finish that, but I want to show you here on the celery. Get this big chunk. I have the roots off, and you can use as much of the leaves. Now this is a celery that has been in the fridge for a while, so I'm gonna get rid of a lot of it, and then I'm gonna rinse it, and I'm just gonna use some of it. All right, and I'm gonna slice it very thinly as well, so it breaks down easily. I started heating up the pan with the oil as I was cutting the first vegetables. So by the time I get here, there's a little warmth to it. And there you go. The leek doesn't give much, The onion usually gives you a little more material. And then I didn't use much of the celery, just a little bit. Well, the leeks and the celery are sizzling on the pan here on the oil, good temperature. While that was happening, I cut up the beets and the radishes in very small pieces, as you can see here. So it breaks down, cooks well, softens well. Same thing with the radishes, and they can go next, so they can stay under heat for a longer period of time, cook a little longer. That was a poor job putting it in. Just gonna pick it up. There you are. Stir up just a little bit. Put a lid on it for a moment. I decided to soak the charred, kale with a little salt water here to rehydrate the bunch, because it had been in the fridge for a few days. It looked a little withered, whatever the word is, a little soft. In the meantime, while that does that for a few minutes, I'm going to cut up the onions, some of the greens, not much. And I might use some of the radishes greens too. It's looking pretty fresh, looking pretty good. So I might use some of that, make volume. I chopped up the carrots here, small pieces. And with the greens of the carrots, I'll just go like this, look. Take some off, from the stem, so we don't have much stem on it, the harder stem. It works a little bit like a parsley, consistency and flavor and smell, the green smell of a dish. Maybe a little more, that's enough. It has to cook well, so otherwise it has a funny texture to it. And I said that these greens are looking pretty good. So I'm also gonna cut the stems out here, toss that. Gonna put them in the colander here. Just give it a quick rinse, get the sand and the dirt, and if there's any bug, loose or dead, comes out. I'm not gonna use all of it, but I'm gonna use some of that. But that's gonna go in later because it's a soft leaf and you don't want it to break too much. As this is cooking, still sizzling here, looks nice and warm. I'm gonna lower the temperature a little bit actually and cover it. I am gonna make the spice for it. So here's a coarse kosher salt, good amount of salt. Here I have some cumin seeds. On top of that, I'm gonna put turmeric. A good amount of it. We like turmeric and it's good nutrients, nutrient dense. Here's some cayenne pepper. It's not much, limited amount. Here's some paprika. There you are. And then we're going to break that down. The cumin seeds, the salt will help as it grinds. It helps mix all the other elements. You know what? I think I'm going to put some curry as well. Here's some curry. There you are. It's a lot of veggies cooking and we want some good flavor. Break those seeds, those cumin seeds well, so the flavor. I might have to get you one of these, you know. Okay, I'm gonna put that in already. So here we go. Looking pretty good here. I'm gonna just sprinkle that over. And then stir it in. Ooh, smell. Nice. Needs a little bit of water, so I'm just gonna go a little water, but not much because I'm gonna use, I forgot to mention that I'm gonna add some homemade chicken broth that I made yesterday. So after hydrating the kale for several minutes, it's here chopped very thin, very small in two orientations, so it's really small pieces, and that's gonna go on the pot right away. And it's getting close to an end here. After that, I'm gonna chop up these guys, not too much of it, some of it, that'll be the last thing I'll put. Actually, I'll put this in after I turn the burner off, because it's soft, and I just wanted to break it down a little bit. And then I'm gonna add, at the very end, or sooner than that, chicken broth made at home with a layer of fat. Wow, this is good stuff. This is looking really good, got good color, good smell, good texture. Time to add the kale. And I added some water earlier to help keep cooking the other veggies. I'm not gonna stir this in yet, I'm just gonna let it sit on top, but I'm already gonna add, look, it's gelatin. This is so healthy, you know, for your digestive system, for your skin, hair, nails. Has so much nutrients. Look, pure gelatin. See that? It doesn't even come out of the container. Awesome stuff. I'm gonna get a spoon, I'm gonna scoop it and put it in. In the meantime, 7-minute eggs. Hard boiling eggs for 7 minutes. Once it's done, you put the lid and let it sit for another 10-15 minutes. So it cooks just right. Not too soft, not too hard. Okay, let's see how things are looking here. I see a little more moisture coming up into the kale, so I'm going to start mixing, stirring it in a little. The eggs already went for 7 minutes just now, so I'm going to cover it and move it out of the heat and let it sit. Organizing things here a little bit. I'm going to stir this guy up. Mix the kale in with the other veggies. We're gonna let the eggs sit here for a good 10-15 minutes, still cooking under hot water and covered, but not under the heat, over the heat. This is looking pretty good, juicy, just the right amount of broth. The kale still have to soften up a little bit. I'm gonna lower the temp a little, and I'm gonna leave it covered for a little longer. I'll come check on it in a little bit. Let's take a look at this. Looking pretty good. But I think the kale needs to cook a little longer, just a little longer. But it'll fine. And then, these are the radishes, greens. I cut them in a little bigger pieces so they don't break. I'm just gonna sprinkle over the top and they'll soften up. And we'll just serve it like that. We're not gonna stir them in, no. Over again. I'm going to lower the temp, just let it be. I think we're coming to an end here. Soon we're going to put this in a plate, peel the hard-boiled eggs, and have a good time. Eat it. Okay, I think we're done here. Turn it off. Yeah, that's it. Check this out. Yeah, turn that off, keep the lid on, but I'm gonna get it out of the heat. And here are the eggs. We're gonna be eating soon. Thank you.